Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacqueline at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and our show today is Talking Heads. If you haven't joined us before, you are in for a treat. Talking Heads is a platform where experts who are invited from around the world come and share their stories, their success, their accomplishment, their knowledge, their expertise, and to help us become better people personally and or professionally. Our expert presenter talking head today is Christin Amy Artner. Let's welcome her from Vienna. Hello, nice to have you.
Hello, thank you for being here. And hello to everyone, and welcome to my 5th episode of Acting Lessons, Acting Techniques You Should Know. Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline.
Thank you. I'm very excited to have you here. We have your contact information up if people want to take a look, and we'll be putting it back up at the end. So I'll go backstage and produce, and you have a fabulous show.
Thank you very much, and see you later. Hello, dear listeners, dear friends, acting colleagues, friends from abroad, and from my home country or home town where I live now. I am living in Vienna, and this is where I am talking to you now. Sorry, my cell phone is on silent now. Hello, everyone. This is my 5th episode where I talk about acting techniques, things you should know about acting, what an actor actually needs, where we have to focus, and all this. And today, our topic is acting techniques you should know about. So, where is the first acting technique we are using nowadays coming from? It actually all comes from a very famous Russian actor and theater director and acting coach, and his name was Konstantin Stanislavski. He founded the Moscow Art Theater, and this was, you can imagine, in 1900. To be precise, it was in 1989 in Moscow. So it's quite a time ago. So what did he do? What was the new thing Stanislavski brought up? He said in order to reach people emotionally, the actor has to be natural on stage. So this is quite logical, but to us, but time, not time, but back then, it was quite new, because the classical actor before was more focused on the body, on the voice, and on the lines, on the words. So the psychological approach was not important, and this was the new thing Stanislavski brought up. And all people he brought on stage, they really created this emotion, as we are used to watch when we go to a theater or to a movie. So this was in 1900. And in 1930, in New York City, a famous group of actors and actresses, already famous and already quite well known, formed a theater, formed a group, and it was called the Group Theater. It was founded in 1930, and the first actors and directors and acting coaches who founded it were Harold Clurman and Lee Strasberg and Cheryl Crawford. And then later Stella Adler joined, and Sanford Meisner and many others, Elia Kazan. So this group theater was founded 30 years after Stanislavski brought up his method. That was also called the Stanislavski method. So the group theater, they founded also a method, and they called it the method. So what we know nowadays as the method acting is not one method, but in fact, there are many methods. And I will talk about the most important acting techniques, meaning acting methods, you should know about when you're an actor as well as when you're a beginner. Because to be honest, many theater actresses and actors do not know so much about the acting techniques, because these acting techniques from Lee Strasberg and Sanford Meisner and all the others from the group theater were more popular and famous because of the movies and not because of the theater plays. And here in Austria or in Europe, the movie culture, movie acting culture was not so experienced as in the US. So these acting techniques, they worked on, there were several methods. And what was probably the most popular was Lee Strasberg's method. And this is known as the method acting. But in fact, there are many, many more methods. And one of these are Sanford Meisner techniques. He is focused towards your partner. So Sanford Meisner said, don't be so psychological, so intellectual. Be more in the moment and in the scene, and most of all, with your partner. Don't interpret things, just watch. So in a very short sentence, Sanford Meisner acting. Then we know Stella Adler acting. Stella Adler also was part of the group theater, but she went to a different path, and this was more focused on the original Stanislavski technique, which is focused on the circumstances, as well as the imagination, but most of all on the circumstances of your character. So Stella Adler says it all lies in your imagination and in your knowledge about the circumstances your character lives in. And not to know from only from your brain, from your head, but to really experience it. Because when you know something, when you know how it feels when you wake up, I don't know, somewhere in the mountains with a lot of snow, and you wake up and you have to watch out the window, look out the window. So you know how you feel when you either experience it or really imagine it, because our brain do not our brains do not really make a difference between what we really experienced and when we imagine it in all details. So Stella Adler is focused on the circumstances and the imagination. Then we have another acting technique. It's called the Chekhov technique. Michael Chekhov was the nephew of the playwright Chekhov, Anton Chekhov, and Michael Chekhov founded or created the so-called psychological gestures. What does he mean with that? He talked about the archetypes we all have. We all, as a human race, we all experience and we have the same archetypes in us. So he's working with this and with the psychological gesture. What does that mean? Every expression we feel, when we feel joy, love, anger, hate, fear, when we really feel it, we have more or less the same expression because we feel it. So this is a psychological gesture. And this was Michael Chekhov. Then Sanford Meisner, I already mentioned. Lee Strasberg. Lee Strasberg was focused solely on your personal experience. So when you have to play a scene when you play a scene where you probably kill someone, it's not really possible, it shouldn't be possible to rehearse it before. But Lee Strasberg said you have to go deep into this emotion, and probably you have a similar experience or you had one in your own personal life where you should go into it. So my personal point of view is that this is an approach I think it's a risky one, because it's more a psychological or psychotherapy, or it could be than an acting training. So it was just a short note about my personal statement about this. We have one other, a woman called Ivana Chabak. Ivana Chabak mixed some other things in her acting techniques, which basically we all do, because when you trained or when you get trained as an actor, you should not only go towards one approach, or there are actors who are solely working with Sanford Meisner technique, or others with solely Stella Adler. So what I do, and I will come to this now, to my approach. So the Christin Amy Artner technique, I do the same as many other colleagues do, plus my own personal approach. And my own personal approach is, the first thing is, be aware of your thoughts, of your real thoughts. So when you are talking to your partner, what happens when you begin with acting? You watch your partner, you listen to his words, and then you answer. So what is missing there? The whole process of listening, thinking about it, maybe thinking about, is it true, or do I believe, and then while you make this process of thinking and reacting, this is also called transition, you come to your lines. So this is a very natural process. And well, there are other acting teachers and wonderful coaches who work with similar exercises, like Eric Morris, who work a lot with inner monologues or inner dialogues. So this is also, it's not an inner dialogue, it's watching your own thoughts, because this is what we do in real life. So this is one thing. And then one very important thing, as I can see it in my acting courses, is listening. And actually you can begin solely with listening to your partner. So that doesn't mean that you should not talk, because you have your lines as well. But when you really listen, you will come to thoughts. And then the whole process is going its natural way. And one third thing I would like to mention, what is important for me in my acting classes, is embrace the moment. So what does it mean? Embrace the moment. That means when you act and when you play a scene, you are focused on your partner and hopefully on the scene and on the atmosphere that is around you. And there is a moment where you also realize that you are here playing a scene. And when you include this as well, then you are in the moment, in the scene. So there are several techniques or exercises I use to just be there. And one fourth thing is very important to me. This is improvisation. And there's another wonderful acting teacher, coach, everything. I learned a lot, not personally, but through her improvisation exercises. And this is Viola Spolin, and she's a wonderful improvisation coach, or she was. And there are wonderful exercises where you have the circumstances, just the circumstances, and where you can totally be in the moment and very free, because you know where you have to go to, where your next goal is, and in the meanwhile you can complete focus on the here and now. So this is why I mention it now, because this is be in the moment. And I use some exercises from Viola Spolin in my acting courses. So because I forgot to introduce myself, I'm Christin Amy Artner. I'm filmmaker. I'm behind the screen. I'm in front of the screen as actress and voiceover actor. I'm scriptwriter and director, and I founded a film production called NAP film works and an acting and voice studio called NAP Education here in Vienna. And you can reach out anytime online, or if you're in Austria, you can just give me a call and we can see each other in person. So I would like to add some thoughts about acting techniques, because I get asked sometimes, why do we actually need a technique? So, because when you are natural and when you are in the moment, then you are. So why do you need a technique? So I can give you some ideas why. One is your voice. As an actor or as an actress, you have to train your voice, because when you speak also on camera and where you have a mic on your hair here somewhere, you should have a good voice, meaning that you should not breathe up there, because then you can feel it and your voice goes flat. So you have to get a voice training. And you have to get a physical, body work, body training, because every character moves and walks and reacts in a different way. Every role you play or you can play is probably not like you are, because then you are always playing yourself. So this might get boring in the long run. So train your body, train your voice, and then you have to train your reactions, and you have to get used to getting a specific and certain emotion in no time. So there's no time on set to prepare. Well, I talked about the differences between theater acting or acting on stage compared to film acting. This is a little bit different in theater acting, because there you have rehearsals. You have some weeks or even months to rehearse it, to get better, to train your voice, and on. In film acting, you go on set and you have to be prepared and ready to shoot, and you have to prepare yourself. So you have to know some techniques. You have to know when you know which part you are shooting on this day, where your character starts and where he ends, and what else is going on there. And then probably you have a little break, and then you have a scene from the end of the script. And in the meantime, your character changed a lot. So you have to know where to start in the next scene. So training is very important. And I'm not talking about the lines, because was also an episode, was 2 episodes before, where I talked about learning the lines or learning the character. And this is also a sneak preview to the next, the 6th episode, where I talk about don't learn the lines, learn the character. But today, we are with our acting techniques. An acting technique. So you need to have a technique in order to be ready, because you have to talk daily. You have to make a daily routine of exercises with your voice, with your diction, with your body, with your movement. Because imagine you play a character um, that has also always the shoulders up to the ears and goes like this. I guarantee that if you do this for more than an hour, your body hurts. So you have to get used to it and relax. Was just a little example. So then, what for are acting techniques? There is a third thing that's very important. You have to speak the same language. I don't mean German or English or French. I'm talking about terms. Because when a director tells you to play a beat, very to hit it and to play it very clear, so you have to know what it means. So you have to learn the terminology. What is a beat? What is an action? How do I read instructions, and how do I interpret in instructions I get from my director? Because sometimes you get things like just be a little bit faster. Well, there is a reason for you being a little bit faster. So if you just do it from the outside, maybe, well, you can also come from the outside to your inner emotion. But if you only stay in the outside, then you're only posing, and you're only doing it without any effect. So acting techniques are important. And there are different techniques in theater than compared to film acting. It is possible that you get a so-called classical theater education, but what is actually meant with a classical acting technique is it's very on the outside. So you're focused on your lines, you're focused on how you put it, you're focused on a clear voice, you're focused on gestures. So this is on the outside. And if you ever had the chance to get in touch with this kind of acting, then you know this is not very satisfying, because you're only posing. So this is also not fun to watch, because we do not believe what we say. And there's another thing. Every acting technique tells you to do mean what you say. Be honest, be truthful, be in the moment. So all the things I mentioned today, I didn't invent it. So this is basic, and this is the origin where our acting comes from. At least this kind of acting we are experiencing and watching now, because in ancient Greek culture, it was completely different. At this time, they had choruses, and they were all talking at the same time. So this is a whole different thing. And there were some old theater acting in China, in India. And this is very interesting because there are completely different approaches. And here, our acting from Russia, Europe, and US, actually throughout the world, because what I'm talking about today about these techniques, these standards. This is a global acting standard now. And everyone who wants to become a professional actor or actress should know about it. And not only know about, because it is not enough that you learn it or that you make a course for 1 week and then you never do something with it again. So that doesn't make sense. What is very important in acting is a daily training or a training plan, because you cannot do everything on one day. There are so many things you can work on. So make a plan, especially when you are a working actor, you are working all the time. So make probably a plan to relax. And if you are auditioning a lot, then you are working all the time, and probably some acting advisors will give you some help for the next one, for the next audition. And if you are in the beginning and you want to go the acting path, so be open and try different things. And you have to know, you have to experience how it feels for you, because usually you will mix some things that are perfect for you and that work. So then use this and be curious and go to new workshops. So this is a difference a little bit here in Austria. The workshop or training culture is not the same as it is in the US, but it's getting better. So open classes. If you are in Vienna, I have an open class. I have open classes once a month, and some other workshops or courses. And reach out if you have special questions, as probably where to find some Sanford Meisner actors only, or some other acting tips, just write me an email or give me a short note. And yes, time is over. I hope I could give you some ideas and some good advices. Go online, watch my next show, and visit us on USA Global TV. Thanks for watching.
Great job, Christine. Well done. I really learned a
Thank
lot from
you.
that. It was very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Thank you.
As somebody who took one acting lesson, I'm just, my eyes are open that there's so many different techniques. It's really fascinating.
And the nice thing is, the more you know about the different acting techniques, it's all going towards the same. So this is the wonderful thing.
Yes, it is. Well, you certainly know your craft, that's for sure. And I'd love for you to just share with our audience. We have your banner up and we have your information, but for people listening on the radio or they can't read the banner, how can people get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me. You can get in touch with me. Sorry. Email me to office@nap-filmworks.com, filmworks with an X, or Christine@ChristinAmyArtner.com.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Christine. You did a great job today, as always.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jacqueline, and thank you, USA Global TV, for this wonderful platform. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to next time.
I'm looking forward to it as well, and I'll see you for my acting lesson next week.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Dr. Jacqueline.
Thank you, Christine. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening wherever you are in the world. We're so happy to have you. And please do reach out to Christine. And we love to hear from you. So that's why this is all about connecting people. What we represent here at USA Global TV and Radio is education, entertainment, inspiration, and hope. If you'd like to be considered to be a talking head, please do reach out. You can go to usaglobaltv.com and you can contact us there for your interview. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, you can also go to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and you can book your session there. And if you're watching on one of our channels, our YouTube channel, for example, please do subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our family here. And finally, if you have any ideas for a new show, if you'd like to have your own show, if you'd like to sponsor a show, please do reach out. Where do you go? Yes, usaglobaltv.com. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you for our next show. We'll be back shortly. Thanks again. Take care, and we will see you soon. Have a great weekend.